Sorry, man.
Hey guys, we're back. Yeah, you just gotta hear the tail end of a sorry, man. Kind of going like WTF. I want to do some quick shout-outs before we get into this next game, into this next series. We're in the lobby right now. It's Newkirk Precinct. Wow, I just said that really Canadian. Right now. It's this Newkirk Precinct coming up. But before we get into it, I want to give a big thank you to Tom KD, alias... Oh, I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Fantastic. Alias, Jumper Legs, Marish, and... Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, Bobble Convolute? Thank you guys for supporting me on Patreon. There's your shoutouts for the stream, and I love your faces. We also got a lot of resubs to get caught up on before we get into the game. Like a lot of resubs setting us up at the start of the day. Gosh, dang. Okay, my tralala. Thank you for the bits. Prince Morganti for the 31-month resub says sub hype. Ace 1, Ace 2. Borgie B threw in 100 bits to say pig on base trading again. Hype. External Punch resub for 6 months says we're halfway there. Pig, oh, who's this guy resub for 8 months? He says base trading. Spunk Meyer, thank you for the 18-month resub. War Buffy for the 7 months. You can probably go now, by the way, while I do this. War Buffy for the 7 months. Thank you, Clips31 for the 3-month resub. Says 3 months to the infinity month relationship. Oh, we had a new sub. Sayakam. Eversicam, that's what I'm going with. It's the easiest way to say it. Thank you for subbing to the channel. Thank you, Diocletian Zerg. Smelly Pickle 3, I believe. Oh, is it Danielle? I can't remember. Shit. All right, thank you for the 11-month resub. And then Scotobot just a moment ago for the 23 months. We should be caught up. If I missed your names, please know I love your faces. Thank you for supporting the channel. We're still floating above 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely awesome. And thank you guys for helping us do more cool stuff. BaseTradeTV. I guess we're just waiting on Nerchio to ready up. He's too busy fanboying over you in chat, evidently.
This is Nerchio's like running joke, because every time he sees me on Twitch or in game, he instantly just starts fanboying. You know, he gets a bit excited when he sees me. Every time he says something though, I don't care like how sarcastic he is, I screenshot it and I have my archive of everything good that Nerchio has said about me on my computer.
It's like you have one of those days where you're feeling down, so you just go into this folder and just like scroll through the pictures like, aw.
Oh yeah. That's it, man.
You can go, by the way. So, Nerchio's ready.
All right,
okay.
sorry.
So this is a best of 3. That first round was a best of 1 just because we had so many people signed up for the tournament, and honestly, we just don't expect that many people to sign up for the tournament. So, as we get into this, going forward, all games will be best of 3 until the grand finals, which will be a best of 5, even though the bracket says best of 3, and I got a poker admin about that.
Alright.
By the way, big shoutouts and thank you to Dares. You may see him pop in and out of chat. I know he's feeling a little bit sick today, so I hope you feel better, buddy. But he is fighting through the sickness to admin this cup. So thank you so much for your dedication, man. Of course, casting today with Pig. Thanks for joining me, and we get into this game. I'll let you introduce this guy, so I'll do the other. In the bottom left, not the biggest fan of Pig. It's going to be the Blue Protoss Super.
As far as you know.
As far as I know.
Of course, the guy who I taught how to Ling Bane micro, the one and only Zerg apprentice of mine. It is Team Euronix, Nerchio.
Now, of course, if you guys are a fan of Nerchio, as I would hope many of you are, we were talking a little bit before the cast. I'm sure there's VODs of some variety, whether it's YouTube or Twitch, but Pig actually had Nerchio on. They discussed a lot of what happened at BlizzCon, Nerchio's thoughts on the game, getting to watch him play from his first-person point of view in the replay. A lot of cool stuff, but it was really cool hearing Pig walk Nerchio through his thought process and how the games went. So, just before we get into the game, there's a lot of cool reference material that probably hasn't been seen by a majority of people. Please check it out.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the plug there. You know, it's really cool, the current generation of pros we have, even though Nerchio has been around forever. But they're all really happy to kind of share their insight onto the game these days, and it's something which is really cool because it's something you just used to not get this sort of access to pros. But nowadays, well, I'm having them on the shows all the time. They're doing little show matches with like Matcherino and you guys and everyone else. They're playing all these online cups, so it's a blessed time for online StarCraft events, man.
Did you hear about our Matcherino Cup from like 2 days ago, my friend?
The Korean one?
The Korean one that like blew away expectations.
Yeah, you know, casual $2,300 raised.
Yeah,
was it?
no big deal.
Oh my god.
So a couple things to note really quick. First off, thank you, Devin Wolf, for the 1,000 bits. It says, it's pig. Did you bring licorice? If he did, it's not the black kind, I'll tell you that much. Throwbacks to our previous disgusting conversation. But again, we're seeing that the bugs come up on the Zerg production tab. I just want to assure everybody this is not something caused by us or the overlay or anything like that. It's just a current bug with the most recent patch of the game. Hopefully Blizzard will fix it sooner than later, but units with skins are the ones you're going to see afflicted, and unfortunately for us, that's Lings, that's Overlords, maybe even Roaches if Nerchio spent like the $2.99 or whatever it is.
Yeah, we'll have to find out about that one. Of course, this is the new mutator for competitive mode. Just, you know, makes you have to identify the units just using the on-screen visual cues a little bit more, but that's all right.
Okay, so this is where I would love to hear your opinion on this. I feel like the skins are not hard to differentiate. I know that one of the biggest culprits for having their skin shut down was people don't want people using the roaches in tournaments because it's hard to tell if they have tunneling claws or not. I think that it's kind of obvious, personally. Like, it still shows up pretty definitively on their backs.
I don't think it matters that much. What it does annoy me, and this is like the dumbest annoyance ever, it really doesn't matter, is that every time I see it in the production tab, I'm like, why has it got a different graphic in the production tab if it's still a roach? I don't
like change. I'm old.
Yeah, it's like I'm come on, you've got different spikes on your back. You're still a roach. Like, the production tab is like the production tab, man. Every time I see it, I think, why are locusts in production? No one has swarm hosts right now. And then I'm like, wait, that's just a roach. Like, okay.
I mean, I'm glad that they came out with new skins. I think it's cool, but I'm surprised they went with something brand new, like this weird chrome roach thing. I would have loved to have seen a primal roach, dude. How badass would that have been?
Ooh, yeah.
Like, they're coming out with all these skin packages they talked about, like that war chest or whatever, and I'm really just hoping to see some of the stuff that's already in the game. I don't necessarily need something new. I want primal hydralisks that look like they're right out of the jungle. Like, I think that's gonna look super cool.
Hells yeah, man. So something really cool in this game, by the way, we are going to see the most standard opening from Protoss at the moment, from Super, where you just open up Nexus first, just one gate at first, into Twilight Council, DT Shrine, and a Robotic. So he's going to be going for that Archon drop into a delayed 3 more gateways added, so he can warp in 4 DTs. But what's really interesting is how Nerchio is choosing to counter it by going for a really fast lair. This is something you never see Korean Zergs do. Korean Zergs always go for Spore Crawlers with a slightly later lair, but Nerchio is trying to cut that corner and say, let's just use a single Overseer for defense, not waste money on those Spore Crawlers. And if he gets away with this and pulls it off, it's going to be really sick. It's going to be very efficient.
Yeah, plus Roach Speed is going to be great for trying to jump around and catch that Warp Prism. Quick question, though, and I'm wondering if, like, does he actually do the DT part of this that we've seen a lot of people doing, like Zest and others, or does he say, I don't want to risk it because of the latency? Maybe the pickup's late in the Warp Prism, maybe the DTs aren't controlled. So yeah, he goes straight into the Archons.
Makes sense. I think that's a smart way to do it. You know, that's a really good point. I feel like players always want to try it sometimes, especially if their opponents are being too greedy. You know, run the DTs in, have a poke. But Super here just kind of opting for this option. And even without latency, a lot of players just prefer to go straight to Archons because this is the reliable part of the pressure, where you're always going to be able to drop these meaty Archons out, get some damage done, pick off some tumors, some drones, and so on. Interestingly, there is no Observer out yet. He's going straight into Immortals behind this, which is going to be a little bit safer, but it will slow down his ability to snipe off creep tumors.
Is Nerchio making like 5 Ultralisks in the production tab right now? I don't know.
Of course, just a couple Overlords coming in there. A lot of Roaches are out. Actually, just 9 Roaches so far. Nerchio really cutting corners in his defense here, and he's only got 4 Queens. And wow.
You know, beyond all that too, he's droning hard. Like, there's no panic. This is like deadly calm out of Nerchio.
This is deadly greedy as well. This is almost like, yeah, the Zerg part of me is like smiling and nodding my head right now and going, yeah, get those drones. And the Protoss part is just shaking my head and going, disgusting. Disgusting. If he were to, you know, doing a 2-base timing right now, like the stats timing, Nerchio would really struggle to hold on against that. Of course, Nerchio's done a great job of scouting. He comes into the 3rd base again, sees a lot of probes there, so he knows it's not that stats like 2-base saturation, fake 3rd nexus, I'm gonna make a bunch of charge lots and 2 immortals and just punch you in the face. And he's read it so well. So now Nerchio has had like the most streamlined build up to 3-base saturation. He's already got that Hydra Den finishing up. He's going to go straight into Lurker Den, and
I'm
plus
worried,
1
though,
range is already finished.
This timing still not be so good. Like, I love that he's going for Hydras, but everything he has right now is easily dealt like massive damage. You got the Archons, you got the Stalkers, you got the Immortals. Everything here wants to kill Roaches.
There's no blink in this army yet. With that many Ravagers to cancel the force field, oh yeah. I think Nerchio's in an okay spot right now. He's just got to buy time for more units to get out. And a good pressure from Super, but I feel like, oh yeah, like, you know, Super had no way of realizing how greedy Nerchio was being, but I think it was just a little bit too late to find the damage he wanted there.
So, this is funny. He lost one of the Archons, so he picks up the Immortal to bring with him in the Warp Prism. That'll deal a good chunk of damage. Roaches, of course, missed their shot. Nice pickup out of Super, but not getting to the drones. Not doing really any damage.
Yeah, he hasn't found anything just yet.
I like that predictive shot out of Nerchio, too, expecting Super to just keep streamlining forward.
It's worth throwing out there, you know? It's never worth panicking and being like, I gotta try to get this hit, because, you know, you can't rely on it. But if you've got some spare APM, why not put the pressure on? And there's always the chance your opponent might mess up and lose that Warp Prism. Well, we have seen it happen before.
This attack out of Nerchio is what we supplemented by 18 Broodlords. Sorry, I mean Zerglings. I can't deal with this production depth. As they flood on in, they'll be the fastest reinforcement point to get across the map. So Nerchio's not looking to turn around and go home. He wants to take a big fight, and he's going to get one. The Immortals and the Force Fields are pretty much already gone, though. Sentry's down, the Immortals getting focused, and this is looking rough for Super, to say the least. Down to half the army supply of Nerchio, and he's still pushing forward with a lot of these Roaches, with a lot of these Ravagers. Mothership Core got picked off there while this went on, and looks like that's going to be it for Super's army.
Yeah, Nerchio, so decisive here. I mean, he was building up to like a higher tech army, it looked like. But after defending that push before, seeing how weak this army was, how many units he had, he just kind of went, nah, gonna kill you. And yeah, dove on top of it, man. Beautiful. Really just super streamlined, efficient play there from Nerchio. All comes back to that early defense. You know, he went for the bare minimum of units, shut down the aggression hard with perfect queen placement, perfect roach positioning, great overseer placement. And Super just couldn't find any damage. And if you're investing that much in your Archon drop, you don't find damage. I feel like, yeah, just gave Nerchio a little bit too much room there to drone up freely. So sick play by Nerchio, very well played.
Well, we gotta figure out what the next map is. It's loser's choice here with Super. Big thank you to I'd Prefer Not To for the 11-month resub during that game. It's almost a year now, and great to see Pig on BaseTradeTV again, by the way.
Oh.
Okay.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's always fun to have an opportunity to come cast with you. We had some fun with IAM last week as well.
You know, I actually have something to say about that too. Let me get the players invited here first. And Pig. By the way, thank you, Scotobot. I'm not sure if I caught that one as well. Thank you guys again for the resub. Sorry, it's a little bit... You have a couple days off and suddenly you forget how to do shoutouts. It's kind of the way this is playing out for me. But getting everyone here in the lobby. Oh, Emil's going to be casting this too. Cool.
Awesome.
Pass you hosts. Nerchio 0 Super.
I can go as soon as they're ready, yeah?
Yeah. So I have a pretty bad habit of just, I guess like a bad case of the total biscuits, if you will, where like I need to see what people are writing, whether it's Reddit or YouTube or other comments about like stuff we're doing. And I've grown such a thick skin at this point, so rarely does anything bother me, but I'm certainly aware of who some of my haters are, right? And of course, if you don't have any haters, you're not doing something right. But I was surprised because on one of the comment sections of a site, people who normally give me a lot of crap were actually like, and I quote, it was something along the lines of like, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I actually like Rifkin casting with Pig. They did great together for IM, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, that's like the highest of praise right there. Like when one of your haters is like, hey, you didn't do so bad. I kind of liked it.
I know that feeling, man. Yeah, like occasionally I break the rule where I scroll to the bottom of a Reddit thread. Or like, you know, the point where people are just kind of making snarky comments usually, and then rules. You get that, it's like, well, actually, yeah, I didn't hate Pig this time, so, and you're like, oh, yes. It's like, you know, that begrudging, like, this cast was not bad.
It's so
like,
ridiculous,
give you the
though.
stamp of approval.
You could have, like, somebody who's been supporting you for years tell you that same thing, and it just, for some reason, doesn't impact you as much. And it's unfair, too, not just to them, but to your own brain. You're like, why are you like this? Who made you this way?
We're all just a young, impressionable, you know, person.
Yeah.
We want that approval.
Daddy, please! Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into game number 2 in this best of 3 for the Corsair Cup. Spawning here in the bottom right side of Echo, we've got the Red Zerg player up 1-0. It's Nerchio.
And his opponent up here in the top left-hand side, our blue Protoss player, it is Super.
Also, this was... sorry, I was going to mention this really quick
No,
before we get into it. Because this was asked during the last game, and I didn't get a chance to answer it. Bits, donations, ad revenue, guys, same deal as last time with Pig. He's getting the same deal Zombie Grub does when she casts with me, all this stuff. So if you guys love Pig and you want to see him get some love, don't worry, he will get some love. Don't you worry,
Really
pretty little heads about it.
You treat me so well, Graham.
I'm gonna go back to my abusive real life girlfriend after this. She makes me buy her stuff. Thank you, by the way, MeatPop13 for the 12-month resub. Hey, that's 1 year. Make sure to send us a message on the channel so we can send you your partoof in real life. Says, holy cow, holy space cow is a whole year. P.S. Love the Pig BaseTradeTV collaborations.
Nice.
All right, Pig, talk about the game since you know I'm not going to.
No. No worries, man. All right, so nice wall off from Super. I like that the pylon, the weak point of the wall, is on the back end. Looks like Super's going for the faster gate into Nexus this time around. So he could potentially go for like an Adept pressure or something like that. You know, faster Stargate into Oracle. I feel like every game on this map in PvZ, the Protoss always just ends up going like heavy Phoenix or Oracles into Carrier Turtle super early on.
Well, I think part of it, so there's like two parts to that, right? On one hand, the map layout's great for turtling up. You've got 3 bases that are basically connected by 1 choke point. So you can easily play turtle if you need to. The other part about the Phoenix is the same reason I feel like Zerg players are doing mutas on the map. There's just a lot of dead space to get away with. Like, I'd say a good fourth, like if you compile the map into parts and like squish it down, like a fourth of this map is dead space. So air units will reign supreme.
That high ground above the third, nice to come in with like Phoenix or Oracles, and you won't get spotted until the moment you strike. Also nice for Liberators and the Terran matchups. Of course, that won't come into play with this one. But okay, Nerchio going to take that third base. He has still been mining gas quite a bit, you know, back at home though. So I'm very curious what he's going to do with that.
I would really like for Super to play the style though that does go towards carriers. We've seen on and off people doing well and bad against them. I would love to see what Nerchio's approach to the situation is right now, because I think that it is that this staple point of the matchup where you're like, okay, if Protoss gets to X, it's now entirely on them to mess up the game rather than the Zerg having a chance to win.
Oh yeah, you know what was the weirdest series recently, and like I don't think this actually
Bleedock versus Zest. Hello, it's gonna be weirder than that one.
That was pretty weird. But did you watch what was the semi? It was Bial versus Stats.
No, I didn't get to see either the semis or the finals.
If you want to watch a series that doesn't make sense, go watch that one, man. Like it's like so many back and forth. It was like, okay, well, you know, you're down 30 supply against the Protoss at the start of the game. Like I think you're dead. Oh no, you're winning. Bial is beating carriers when there's like a mass of them with Hydralisks and Banelings. Okay. There was like these really bizarre games that just kept dragging on to these, like, it's like 45 minutes into the game, and Stats was like, well, 5 carriers is all I want. I'm actually just going to make Adepts now and Archons against your Hydra Baneling rather than the big carrier count, which is unbeatable. It was really bizarre. I really need to go back and study those replays. So there's been a lot of strange things happening lately. One thing we've seen still rotating back into play is this Adept attacks into 2 Stargate Phoenix. And that's exactly what Super's going to be doing here. And then basically you go up to like 10, 12 Phoenix. You just turtle with the third base and you just try to go straight to carriers. And this build really relies on these first Adepts and what they can get done. They need to find some damage. And interestingly, Nerchio here is actually relying on Ling Bane to defend, something he very rarely does. He almost always prefers to open up with the Roach defense, even if he goes. So, gonna be wondering if he's ready to shut this down.
I mean, it's Nerchio, and the best part is this is unseen to the last moment. The Adepts are clumped up. They're running like hell. The Lings trying to hold them in place. The Banelings get the hits, and every single Adept gets cleaned up, not even sending somebody home to tell the tale of the danger that just happened.
Oh, man, that's really bad for Super. I was saying how important it is. You know, he doesn't even have a pylon at his third base. And there's too many Zerglings coming across the map. Nerchio is going to get a cancel here.
My God.
And that's, oh man, this is...
You know, the worst thing too is like... Oh.
It should shoot up.
Sorry, Zombie, I'm interrupting
That's
this.
all I'm saying.
I just want to say really quick, the worst part about this though is because you go Phoenix, they can't lift up enough. There's not enough energy on the Phoenix to defend. These are useless units with bad supply at the moment. They just can't help against massive amounts of Lings. So I love that Nerchio did this. And you can tell that this wasn't some lucky fluke, because behind this he had already started his +1 range. He's moving on towards Hydras. He knew exactly what he was doing.
You know, this is the same thing we saw with Stats playing this build and a lot of the Korean players at IEM. If they didn't do well with those first Adepts. And it's not like you need to do a lot of damage, but you need to keep them alive. You need to maintain pressure. And if your opponent's going Ling Bane, you need to keep warping in Adepts. Because if you lose those Adepts, you can't secure your third base. And if that even gets delayed just a little bit, it really just destroys your build. It really screws you over. This is a good trade here for Super. At first, he's going to need to warp in some more Adepts here. Well, looks like, oh yeah, nice hold for now.
Speaking of the third getting delayed, unless you guys have tried to do any variation, like you could be Bronze League trying to go for like one base carries, you still understand, and you'll know gas is like the biggest like inhibitor here. So unfortunately for Super, like the fact that this third is delayed, not so much about those minerals, and so very much about that gas.
Yeah, I mean, look at the situation now. He's like, I have 6 Phoenix. And we look at Nerchio's side of the map. He's like, yeah, dude, I'm pretty much saturated on 3 base. I got my Hydra upgrade on the way. My +1 attack is almost finished.
Yeah.
Interestingly, an Infestation Pit, though. Nerchio might actually be going for Vipers or Hive here? Not sure.
I would actually love to see this guy pull out some Neural Parasites and Scares. Although it's not like the good move, it would be the cool move. By the way, thank you so much to Nelasuna. That zombie of interruption came from him or her $20 donation with a bunch of hearts. So thank you so much. Ivo Chev also reset for 14 months while we were fighting and saying, yay, where's my Partoof badge? Badge or coin, man? What do you need? If you still haven't got your coin yet, don't fret, guys. Zombie Grub's been in Korea for over a month and a half. That's why they've been delayed on getting sent out. Overseer going to get picked off by the Phoenix. Yo, the thing about this Hive, like if this is going to be fast Vipers and really good Abducts, that can always be cool. But if there's still a lot of Phoenix roaming the map, they don't have a lot of damage, but they can tear through Vipers pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's like Nerchio is actually expecting like 15 Phoenix into the carriers, and he's saying, you know what, I'm just going to drop a few parasitic bombs on you in the battle, and it's just going to destroy your ability to use the Phoenix, because they're going to have to be busy splitting rather than engaging. That's like a very bizarre choice. Obviously, Abducts to get carriers is like, oh yeah, that's kind of nice, but I really feel like from Nerchio's early game, it was one of those games where he'd just like make 30 Hydralisks, a move, before you have enough carriers and cannons out. But now, because he's doing this, he's going to give Super a bit more time. That being said, Nerchio's economy is so sick, he can even afford to take 1 or 2 bad trades, and I think he's just got so much money that he definitely has a little bit more flexibility, but I don't know if that's what you want against carriers. I feel like you just want to punch them in the face before they get to too many, so we're going to have to see how he tries to play it.
I feel like you want to punch the player in the face before he gets too many in a lot of these games, but I don't know. This is
That's
so
kind of
weird.
the goal of StarCraft, right?
Right? Like it's everyone thinks it's all about that handshake. You walk across the stage and shake the hand of the other guy in the booth. No, it's because like that's the closest you can get to punching somebody without actually doing it. Man, actually, just thinking, I can't wait for the day where it's got such a crazy rivalry where like someone comes up across the booth to shake the hand, and the other guy just like starts fighting him, like "Don't touch me!" Starts slap fighting or something.
If only actual like pro esports was like the regular Dota match in a PC bang in like in Manila or something like that, where it's just like,
dude,
you ganked me, bro.
Hang on, this is a bit of a problem here. Nerchio's not going to know this because there's no way to identify it, but Super actually put off Graviton Catapult for so long. If you guys don't know, like, the difference of interceptors shooting the carry shooting interceptors without this upgrade is like a snail crawling across the ground. Like, it's so slow, and it's very noticeable. This would have been a time where Nerchio maybe could have actually taken a really fantastic fight, but instead he's setting up for what he's assuming is going to be the long fight, the long con. We got Spore Crawlers coming down. These are going to be used for when those abducts happen. The interceptors, okay, they're cheap to rebuild. They're 5 minerals, not a big deal, but they're also pretty fragile when you've got this many things shooting them.
Yeah, Nerchio looks like he's just going to spread creep right up in range and just sit there abducting units.
No fourth for you.
Really good. Especially because there's no High Templar on the way, right? Super's so afraid of the push right now. He's like, oh, I've just got to get more carriers, make adepts, make carriers. Looks like he's going to go try to take an engage. Ooh, I mean, these Spore Crawlers are going to do a good job.
The Abducts are going to grab the carriers, bring them right into the Spore Crawlers. Hydra's going to focus them down. Shots getting fired. The army's actually not doing so great, though, because it's still busy fighting the Adepts.
Yeah, those Adepts, man.
Wow, those are the MVPs of that fight.
Those Abducts actually didn't help at all because, you know, those Adepts were really the thing he needed to fight. He didn't have any Banelings in there to deal with those Adepts. We've seen that Banelings are so important to deal with these big masses of Adepts supporting the carriers.
This was so costly for Nerchio too. He took a pretty heavy loss there. 28 Hydras going down. That's not cheap. Furthermore, like, okay, what did they trade out for? 2 carriers?
I don't think he even got the 2 carriers, to be honest.
No, 2 died.
Oh, he did? Okay.
But The unfortunate part of this is, like, I like that he's going for roaches. He needs stuff to deal with the adepts on the ground. He knows this, so lings and roaches are not a bad answer, but he still won't have enough possibly to deal with the carriers. The one benefit, though, oh, nice abduct. That's going to be a freebie. There's no mothership, so he doesn't have to worry about stealth detection. That's like the only good thing going on for him through this fight. Great crab in the middle of the map, though.
He's got to morph some banelings right now. Yeah, there we go. Some banelings are morphing. More hydras are on the way, but
oh, what?
Yeah, I really feel like Nerchio has really screwed this up right now. Like he's definitely given away a big advantage. He just has so much economy, but he doesn't even have a fourth to mine off right now. This is really awkward.
But let's talk about that, right? Neither does Super, and Super's been stuck on these 3 bases for such a long time. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't make up for Nerchio's mistake or anything like that, but it is something where this isn't like the Protoss player is vastly crazy ahead. Another double abduct goes down, picks off another carrier.
Gonna try and engage into these interceptors here. There
I love the focus fire.
Carrier. Ooh, Baneling's doing a decent little trade-off here. The Hydra's actually just destroying all of the interceptors.
The wall of roaches, without a transfer through them, kept all those adepts in front of the Hydras, and that's why Nerchio had nothing to fear going into that. That was an absolutely fantastic positional decision from Nerchio. Stuttering in, Time Warp might be used for the first time ever in a competitive StarCraft 2 match. He grabs all the Hydras, but will it slow them down enough? It doesn't slow their attack speed, only their movement speed, and these Hydras are going to town on everything that's left. No interceptors coming out of these carriers. They're all bone dry. This game is over.
Nice. So that's kind of what I was expecting from Nerchio in the first place, but he did get rolled in the first fight, but he had that big economy, man. He just rebuilt that army, took that sick engagement. Well played. Nerchio takes the 2-0.
Yeah, very nicely done. We have some interesting matchups lining up down on the southern side of the bracket. We may take a swap over to cast Snoot next, as he'll play against either Lilikaneen or Pompka. And then the winner of that plays what is most likely Mana in the semifinals. Top side of the bracket still has some of the Koreans. You've got Stylish, who is known as Alive. You've got Keen. Looks like Nerchio's going to be playing either Healer or Namshar. So there's a couple of good matches still on deck, guys. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. Thank you very much to TieBot3000. Carrier happy. 4 months. Thank you so much, friend. We'll see you guys soon.